Hello and welcome to the Q Show. My name is David and as you can see I am home in Buffalo. If you caught up with my last episode you will have known that I was in England for a couple of weeks and it was the most wonderful trip, holiday, vacation I've ever had, to be honest. And well, I've been to a lot of places and I've done a lot of things, but this one was very special for a lot of different reasons. The 2 weeks itself was pure joy, to be honest. Every step of the way, every experience I had, every planned or surprise experience, and the same goes for people. Every person I got to spend time with, whether it was someone I knew deeply or a little bit, or someone brand new, every single one of them was amazing. And I was able to take so much value from literally every single moment. It was a real this trip was a great test, I guess, of how far I've come on my journey. And to be a little bit more specific, as a lot of you know, over the last 20 years in many ways, and I would argue 30 plus years in others, and more specifically the last 5 years, I've been very deliberately assessing myself, assessing the people around me, assessing the things I was spending my time doing, focused on, worrying about, losing sleep over, putting my energy into, putting into my body, and step by step I've just been clearing my mind, my spirit, my body of anything that deteriorates my experience, anything that takes away from my experience, and on the flip side, adding in along the way things that elevate my experience, that make my experience more enjoyable, that allow me to see clearly and focus and be present and really enjoy every single moment. And this trip, while it was amazing because of the things I did, the people I spent time with, the weather, the culture, the hustle and bustle of London, which I just love so much, so much. The reason this trip was so special and so valuable was because it was the result of all the work I've been doing over the last several decades to get myself to this point where I feel the best I've ever felt in every sense of the word, as well as feeling a consistent sense of joy and excitement for everything that a day might hold. And so this was very, very special. Pause for the old dump truck. But this was very special because I guess I just got to enjoy it in a way that I never was able to before. It's been almost 3 years since I was in England, and even before that it would be maybe a year or a year and a half between trips, and all along that way I was on this journey, very, very deep into it, really trying to get to the other end of it. And well, I got there, I guess, in many senses of the word and in many pieces of the puzzle and parts of my story, so that this trip to England felt brand new to me. I've said this before, but I feel I lived a whole life up until I was 40, and now I'm living a brand new one, completely different mindset, different clarity, different perspective on everything I do. And so I'm just really, really grateful, firstly, to have the time in England, to have the time with my friends in that environment with people I know and strangers alike, getting to be in nature, getting to do things I really enjoy doing with people I really, really enjoy spending time with. But I'm really, really, really grateful for me in the past saying to myself, this doesn't feel good. This could feel better. I could feel better. And as a result of pointing that out to myself and building that awareness, I then took steps and more steps and more steps. And so I'm so grateful I was able to see that in the time I was able to see it, because it gave me this opportunity to do the work over the last X amount of years to get to this place and to be able to go to England and just have the most blissful experience and valuable. And I learned so much about myself, about other people, again, people I knew and people I didn't, and also about Q. It was a really interesting one on that front, because while Q is a conversation that stretches beyond Buffalo and this city, this was my first time out of Buffalo in the outside world in the last couple of years, where I got to talk to people about it and share with people in face-to-face, in person, and really get a sense of what the culture and community is like in England, in London, in Kent, where I'm from, and really kind of understand better how Q can and will adapt as it continues to grow globally. And it won't be a surprise to learn that I certainly came away from my time in England and in London inspired to host a Qualia experience in London. And I'm quietly ideating on that, but I would love, pending getting the rest of the work done I need to this year, I would love to look at next year sometime to host an event in England. So if you're in England, around that area, definitely make sure you're keeping up to date, because there should be some fun stuff down the line. There will be something sometime, whatever the case, but I'd love to be able to do it by next summer. But again, we'll have to see what happens. So, yeah, I really had an amazing trip from beginning to end. It was smooth sailing, even with any challenges or complications. It was all just, fun lessons in life and getting to experience different things and different people. And I mean, the broadness of things I learned about along the way is incredibly vast, and I love that so much. It was also, the other really cool thing was getting to see and meet so many people who I've known for a very long time, in some cases decades, but maybe haven't seen in some time, in some cases 5-10 years, including some of my best friends who I haven't got to see in a long time. And it was really amazing to get to meet them again now, and of course me in the place I'm in, but also them in the place they're in, and the lives that they've led, and experiences they've had that have brought us all together in that moment during the time I and they were there. So that was very special, when you don't see people for a long time and you get to really get another look at them from a different perspective. And of course, with them coming with a different perspective too, it was also very enjoyable. Yeah, it's just really, I love it. I love people. I love nice communities. And I'm very lucky and grateful that I have some wonderful ones in England and in Buffalo and around the world. I just think it's one of the greatest gifts anyone can have, to have good people in your life, and people that believe in you and support you and want the best for you, and of course you want just the same for them. And I felt that love throughout England, and I certainly was keen to offer that love for others, and support and encourage them where they're out on their journeys now. So, but what about Q? Okay, so Q, let's get to Q, because what was really nice, another nice thing about this trip is that for the last year and a half, I've been hustling 50, 60 hours a week to make money, to pay for me, to pay for Q, to save money for this trip I just went on. I did a lot of work, a lot of hustling, but of course along the way I've also been building Q, and fortunately I am very clear on what my vision is for Q and how I wanted it to grow. And it's been amazing to build it over the last 2.5 years, but specifically over the last year and a half, and I've been able to do so much, so efficiently and effectively, and including up until the point I left, where I just hosted the first Qualia experience, the pilot, which I'm still reeling from that, and still energized from the response to it, and just experiencing it in real time, and seeing the change and excitement and growth and joy in the participants. And so I'm now I've year and a half of building all of that, of getting to that point, all those dashing, all my personal journey as well, which has has been vast and amazing, and really kind of just getting to the top of the mountain after a long time of many things, and now just flying down the other side, personally and with Q, and in many other ways, to what's ahead, and it's really exciting. But this 2 weeks gave me 2 weeks off from hustling and Q, and it was so wonderful to take a break, because it's been really intense, and I'm just really grateful I got to have that break. And it also gave me the wonderful opportunity to kind of step back, and I had this very good sense of what the next 6 months looks like for me, the next 12 months, 18 months. I'm very clear on that, but it gave me the chance to really, instead of kind of jumping into it right away, to step back and let it all permeate a little bit, and really just pull the pieces together and create a coherent and deliberate plan to move ahead. And that's what I did. And so coming back, I arrived back on Monday. It's Wednesday this morning. I arrived back on Monday, and then yesterday, after hustling somewhat, I was able to catch up, kind of collect myself, organise the things that weren't organised while I was away, and specifically really hone in on the plan for Q in the coming months. Lots of growth ahead. I think this is a really exciting moment for Q, the next 6 to 12 months specifically. Again, I've been very deliberate to build Q in such a way, and fund it myself, to be able to really not rush into making money from Q until I really knew I had something that offered the value that I wanted to offer people. And I also wanted to build Q Anytime and get that kind of sitting there ready to go whenever the time is right for that app to evolve into its next iteration. Among other things, building content, building relationships, building support, and also just learning for myself, for Q, for all the things, just learning. And so now I'm back, and I was already more motivated and passionate before I left than I ever have been, but being in England really just lit a fire under me even more. I'm so much more inspired and energized to continue building Q. I continue to get affirmations and see the potential, the value, the excitement, the curiosity, the sense of urgency in people for something like Q, for something that is going to help us reconnect with ourselves, with each other, and really be able to take the value out of life that we struggle to, I think, these days. So I'm really, really energized and really pleased, and again grateful that I took chances. In 2022, when I left the film and TV industry, I mean, my gosh, that was a long time coming, a long time coming. I'd argue since my first movie I ever did. I made the decision I was leaving the industry, but it took me 15 years. But when I left, it was, I bet on myself. I'd been wanting to take this step back and really understand myself and what I was capable of and how I could help the world, build a world, build a life, build a society that I would like to live in. And I took a chance, and I really kind of put everything into it, and it was absolutely the greatest decision of my life. Again, personally, professionally. So again, as I come back, I feel more energized and focused than ever. I see the value of what I'm doing. I see the need for it. I see the desire for it, the support for it. There's so much energy around me succeeding with Q, and it just fills me with a lot of joy and optimism, right? That there are a lot of us that really do want to build a better world, that do want to find the love in life again, and with others, and with even those different from us, and to see that actually that's a value, that's a benefit, and that if we are all able to talk again and connect, learn and grow together, then we have every chance at coming out the other end of all this better off. But we got a lot of work to do, and I've got a lot of work to do, and now I'm getting back into it. I'm back on the hustle, of course. I need to keep doing that until I start bringing the money in with Q, which in theory should be very, very soon with Qualia. I have 3 organisations who I'm currently talking to about setting up experiences. Very exciting, and I think they're going to be incredibly valuable. And just again, I think great affirmations of what I can do with Q and what is possible, especially with Qualia. And while there are going to be the Q core experiences that I can offer anyone with Qualia, the customized versions for your specific goals and ambitions and people, I think are going to be really, really special and fun. So if you have a group of people and are interested in a social learning experience, something novel, something brand new, that is in the reviews quoted as unique, brand new, and everyone who left feeling joyful, at ease, and having had an extremely fulfilling experience. So, as I look ahead, Qualia and getting these experiences off the ground locally here is one of the things at the top of my list. I'm very focused on this, and this will be the pivot from me having to hustle so much. On the side, the problem I have is time. I work incredibly quickly. Again, I'm very clear about what the path ahead is and the work I need to do, which I'll explain a little bit more in a moment. But I am limited, because I have to hustle so much. So I'm putting out in the universe that I am looking for the right person to throw some money in the mix here. And the number I'm thinking of is, I mean, even 10, 25, 50, $100,000 gets me so far because it just buys my time. And for example, $50,000 would probably get me 6 to 8 months with some supplement in there even longer to be able to focus on the work I'm doing with Q and really accelerate it in this crucial moment as I just tip over. Like to have that time to focus on Q, it would exponentially accelerate my journey and the work I can do with Q and the people I can help. So I'm putting that out in the universe, you know, even 25K, that gives me a few months of space to really just zoom in and just do the work right now, instead of being out there using my time not as well as I could be. I mean, that's the reality. You know, I am ready to run. I have all the pieces in place, and I just want to run with it now and really just do as much good as I possibly can do, especially in this crucial moment in history and in society. I think it's more imperative than ever I get started really sooner rather than later. So while I will continue to hustle and hopefully, well, I mean, I've no doubt be kind of pulling in money from Qualia Experiences very, very soon, I want to accelerate all of this. And if I could have the next 6 months to really just jumpstart all of this and put the energy into it, well, I think it would be a game changer, a life changer, and not just for me, but for many, many people. So, any thoughts on that? You know, I'm thinking philanthropist kind of vibe. As a technical note, Q's a public benefit corporation. Just like a C corporation, it is a C corporation whose legal objective is to make as much money as possible. But a PBC, a public benefit corporation, has to balance this purpose of making as much money as possible with the social benefit of the company. And we all know the benefits of Q and what I'm trying to do here. So, but the other part of it is traditional angel investors and whatnot are generally interested in companies that are have an exit plan. You know, want to build the company up to a certain point and sell it in a few years. They also traditionally are looking for companies with a specific single product which they can just go all in on and just make a load of money and then expand from there. Both of those things are not Q. Firstly, the journey for me with Q is decades long. My vision for Q is expansive and is looking ahead at the world that will change year upon year. And yeah, there's a lot of work to do here. So I don't want to sell this. Actually, what I want to do is again, it's not about rushing the product to market. For me, it was about working out what the value is that I can charge for, and I got there with Qualia. That was the first thing I got there with, though there are lots of things on the horizon. But the other part of it is that the way I look at anyone who's part of Q, whether you're an investor or an employee, is that I intend to be a profitable company. I don't want to be a company in debt. I don't want to be with people with money in the mix who only objective is just to make money. And that's not to say I don't intend or expect to make money. I expect to make